There are oncoming vehicles to your left and a row of parked vehicles to your right. You should steer A. Closer to the oncoming vehicles than the parked vehicles. B. Closer to the parked vehicles than the oncoming vehicles. C. A middle course between the oncoming and parked vehicles. C. A middle course between the oncoming and parked vehicles. If there are oncoming vehicles to your left and a row of parked vehicles to your right, the best thing to do is to split the difference. Steer a middle course between the oncoming cars and the parked cars. This road sign means A. Watch for people crossing your path. B. No passing zone. C. Work zone ahead. C. Work zone ahead. This orange warning sign tells drivers that an area of roadwork is upcoming. When traveling through a work zone, stay alert for temporary traffic control devices. If you can see that the roadway up ahead is covered by heavy smoke, you should A. Turn on your four-way flashers and continue. B. Reduce your speed, move as far to the right as possible, and stop off the roadway. C. Turn on your high-beam headlights and continue. B. Reduce your speed, move as far to the right as possible, and stop off the roadway. If you notice that the road ahead is covered by heavy smoke, reduce your speed immediately, drive as far as possible to the right, and stop off the roadway. Only then should you determine if it is safe for you to continue. Remember that certain kinds of smoke can irritate your eyes and lungs or even kill you. This sign means A. School zone or crossing. B. Pedestrian crossing. C. Railroad ahead. A. School zone or crossing. A five-sided yellow or yellow-green sign alerts drivers to either a school zone or school crossing.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Driving more slowly than surrounding traffic is A. A good idea if the weather is bad. B. Appropriate if you don't know the speed limit. C. Often a hazard because other drivers may become frustrated and try to pass you. C. Often a hazard because other drivers may become frustrated and try to pass you. Driving more slowly than other traffic can be dangerous. Drivers behind you may become impatient and will be tempted to take dangerous risks to pass you. Broken yellow lines are used on streets and highways to A. Indicate no passing zones. B. Separate lanes of traffic moving in the same direction. C. Separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. C. Separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. Yellow lines separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Dashed lines on the pavement indicate that passing is permitted when safe. If pedestrians are illegally crossing in the middle of the street instead of in a crosswalk, you A. Must stop for them. B. Do not have to stop for them. C. Should honk your horn at them. A. Must stop for them. You must yield to pedestrians at all times. If the pedestrians are jaywalking or crossing the street where they should not be, you must still stop for them. When you see this yellow sign, you should A. Always stop at the crosswalk. B. Stop at the crosswalk until a crossing guard signals for you to go. C. Be prepared to stop if children are in the crosswalk. C. Be prepared to stop if children are in the crosswalk. A five-sided sign indicates that you are near a school. Be aware and stop if children are in the crosswalk. This white sign means you should not pass other vehicles. A. Until after you pass the sign. B. Unless it seems safe to do so. C. For any reason. C. For any reason. A white rectangular sign indicates that you must obey the stated rule. This sign means that drivers should not pass other vehicles for any reason. Hydroplaning occurs when tires ride on a thin film of water instead of on the surface of the road. To prevent hydroplaning in rainy weather, you should: A. Put on your cruise control to maintain a constant speed. B. Decrease your speed. C. Move to the shoulder of the road as soon as it starts to rain. B. Decrease your speed. In rainy weather, you should lower your speed to reduce the risk of hydroplaning. Driving too fast may cause your tires to ride up on the water and lose contact with the surface of the road, making it very difficult to control your vehicle. This sign means: A. You should stop for other traffic. B. Traffic is entering from another road and you should allow additional space for drivers to merge safely into the flow of traffic. C. Traffic is entering from another road and you should keep right. B. Traffic is entering from another road and you should allow additional space for drivers to merge safely into the flow of traffic. This sign alerts you to the possibility of traffic merging into the main stream of travel. After checking to your side and rear, you should move into another lane, if possible, to allow merging motorists a clear path. The proper way to make a right turn is to: A. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the centerline before turning. B. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the right curb before turning. C. Approach the corner in the lane nearest the right curb, but move over toward the middle of the street before turning. B. Signal, slow down, and get into the lane closest to the right curb before turning. Before beginning a right turn, use the appropriate signal to give surrounding drivers adequate notice of your intentions. Slow down and approach the intersection from the right lane, staying as close as is practical to the right curb or edge of the roadway. This sign means: A. Trucks entering. B. Truck exit only. C. Steep downgrade ahead. C. Steep downgrade ahead. This sign warns that a steep downgrade is ahead on the road. Drivers should check their brakes. If you see orange construction signs and cones on a freeway, you must: A. Slow down because the lane ends ahead. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. C. Change lanes and maintain your current speed. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. As you enter a work zone, signs and message boards will warn you of workers, slow-moving equipment, and/or closed lanes ahead. You should reduce your speed and be prepared to slow down or stop. If you are following a school bus or tank truck, you should: A. Pass them on the right. B. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings. C. Expect them to drive above the speed limit. B. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings. School buses and tank trucks carrying flammable liquids must stop at all railroad crossings, whether a train is present or not. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings if following one of these vehicles. Temporary signs used in construction and maintenance work areas. A. Have a red background with green writing. B. Have an orange background with black writing. C. Have a yellow background with blue writing. B. Have an orange background with black writing. All temporary signs in work zones have orange backgrounds with black writing and/or symbols. At dawn or dusk and in rain or snow, it can be hard to see and be seen. A good way to let other drivers know you are there is to turn A. Up the instrumental panel lights. B. On your parking lights. C. On your headlights. When you see an emergency vehicle approaching while using its flashing lights, you must A. Maintain your speed and stay in your lane until the vehicle has passed. B. Move into the right lane and drive slowly until the vehicle has passed. C. Pull over to the curb or edge of the road and stop until the vehicle has passed. C. Pull over to the curb or edge of the road and stop until the vehicle has passed. If you see an emergency vehicle approaching while using its flashing lights, pull over to the right edge of the road and stop. Position yourself parallel to the curb. On one-way streets, drive toward the road edge nearest you. What is the purpose of rumble strips? A. They alert drivers to potential tire problems. B. They test a vehicle's shock absorbers. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. C. Through vibration and sound, they alert inattentive drivers to the fact that their vehicles have left the travel lane. Rumble strips create noise and vibrations to warn drowsy or inattentive drivers that they are straying off of the road or are approaching a stop sign or signal. If a truck or bus is making a right turn where you also need to make a right turn, you should A. Quickly turn before the truck or bus is able to. B. Wait until the truck or bus turns before you turn. C. Squeeze between the truck or bus and the curb. B. Wait until the truck or bus turns before you turn. If you try to insert your vehicle between a turning truck or bus and a curb, you may suffer a serious crash. To avoid a collision, do not turn until the truck or bus has completed its turn. This sign means you are approaching a railroad crossing that does not have a signal. You should A. Come to a complete stop. B. Proceed at a consistent speed while looking and listening for approaching trains. C. Slow down, look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. C. Slow down, look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. At a railroad crossing marked with this sign, a driver should look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. Never try to outdrive an oncoming train. If you are feeling fatigued while driving, you should A. Increase your speed to reach your destination more quickly. B. Increase the volume of your radio. C. Find a safe parking area to take a short nap. C. Find a safe parking area to take a short nap. When driving, watch for warning signs of fatigue. You are too tired to drive safely if you are struggling to keep your eyes open, drifting from your lane, or turning up the radio and rolling down your windows to keep yourself awake. If you notice these signs, it is a good idea to find a safe place to park so you can refresh yourself with a short nap. This road sign means A. Sharp turn to the right ahead. B. Upcoming sharp left and right turns. C. Winding road ahead. C. Winding road ahead. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns the driver that there is an upcoming winding road. Speed should be adjusted appropriately. At a crosswalk, A. You must yield to pedestrians. B. Pedestrians must yield to you. C. Construction workers must yield to you. A. You must yield to pedestrians. Pedestrians have the right of way at street crossings but must obey traffic control signals. Where a traffic signal is not present, vehicles must stop for pedestrians in a crosswalk, whether it is marked or unmarked. Which lane must you be in before making a left turn from a one-way street? A. The lane nearest the left curb. B. The lane nearest the center of the street. C. The lane nearest the right curb. A. The lane nearest the left curb. When making any turn, turn from the lane closest to the direction you wish to travel into the first available legal lane. If you are making a left turn from a one-way street, this means that you would make the turn from the lane nearest to the left curb. When driving at night on a dimly lit street, you should A. Drive slowly enough that you can stop within the area illuminated by your headlights. B. Turn on your high-beam headlights to better see the vehicles ahead of you. C. Keep the instrument panel lights bright to be more visible to other drivers. A. Drive slowly enough that you can stop within the area illuminated by your headlights. You should drive more slowly at night than during the day because it is not possible to see as far ahead at night. You should make sure that you can stop within the area illuminated by your headlights. After you have passed a vehicle moving in the same direction, it is safe to move back into the right lane. A. After about 3 seconds. B. When you can no longer see the passed vehicle over your right shoulder. C. When you can see the entire front of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. C. When you can see the entire front of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. When passing, you should not return to your original lane until you can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. Always check your blind spots before moving back into your original lane. This yellow sign means A. There is a sharp turn to the right. B. The lane must turn right. C. A right turn is permitted on a green arrow only. A. There is a sharp turn to the right. Some warning signs have a fluorescent yellow-green background. These signs warn of upcoming conditions, including roads with curves and sharp turns. This sign means A. No right turn. B. Stop sign ahead. C. Divided highway. A. No right turn. This sign indicates that turns in the direction of the arrow, in this case, to the right, are prohibited. You should signal continuously while turning because it A. is illegal to turn off your signal before completing a turn. B. lets other drivers know what your intentions are. C. is always unsafe to turn off a signal before completing a turn. B. lets other drivers know what your intentions are. You should always signal when turning, changing lanes, slowing down, or stopping so that other drivers, motorcyclists, bicyclists, and pedestrians will know your intentions. Which of the following describes the thinking of defensive drivers? A. They know other drivers will do the right thing. B. They consider what other drivers might do and are prepared to react. C. They expect no breaks and give none. B. They consider what other drivers might do and are prepared to react. Driving defensively means anticipating potential errors made by others and preparing to compensate for their mistakes. When a driver behind you wants to pass your vehicle, you should A. increase your speed. B. ease up on your accelerator to help them pass. C. press hard on your brakes. B. ease up on your accelerator to help them pass. If the driver behind you wants to pass your vehicle, ease up on your accelerator to assist them in passing. You may have to slow down to help the other driver safely return to the lane. A driver should A. assume all drivers automatically obey the right-of-way rules. B. assume most drivers obey the right-of-way rules. C. always be prepared to yield the right-of-way. C. always be prepared to yield the right-of-way. Although the right-of-way rules provide a guide to determine who should yield the right-of-way at an intersection, no one should assume they automatically have the right-of-way. The situation and circumstances at an intersection must always be considered. Drivers should yield their legal right-of-way if it can help prevent a collision. This road sign means A. steep grade ahead. B. the road ahead winds with a series of turns or curves. C. slippery when wet. C. slippery when wet. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers to be careful when driving under wet conditions as the pavement will become slippery and more difficult to navigate safely. Blue traffic signs offer information on A. motorist services. B. construction and maintenance. C. mileage information, such as distances to specific locations. A. motorist services. Blue signs on the roadway are service signs. They are used to provide information about motorist services, such as upcoming rest areas, food options, or nearby hospitals. You have stopped for a train at a railroad crossing. After the train passes, you should A. wait for signal lights to stop flashing. B. look for a second train. C. both of the above. C. both of the above. Even after a train passes, watch out for a second train approaching on any track. Do not proceed until all gates have been lifted and all warning signals have stopped flashing. Streets and highways are most slippery. A. when it has been raining hard for several hours. B. when they are clean and dry. C. just after it starts to rain. C. just after it starts to rain. Driving during the first half hour of rainfall is dangerous because roadways become extremely slippery when the water mixes with oil and other chemicals on the road surfaces that have not yet washed away. Use extra caution when driving on slippery roads. A sign with this shape means A. Railroad crossing. B. Warning. C. Signal ahead. B. Warning. A diamond-shaped yellow sign warns of possible danger ahead. Orange signs, which are mostly diamond-shaped, are used to warn of possible dangers in or near work areas. This sign means A. No passing zone. B. Slow-moving vehicle. C. Two-way traffic. A. No passing zone. A triangular yellow sign with black lettering indicates a no passing zone. It will appear on the left side of a two-way, two-lane roadway at the beginning of an area where prohibitive pavement markings are also used. This sign means A. There is a 35 miles per hour speed zone after the curve ahead. B. Drive no slower than 35 miles per hour around the upcoming curve. C. Approach the upcoming curve at a speed of 35 miles per hour or slower. C. Approach the upcoming curve at a speed of 35 miles per hour or slower. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. These signs may be accompanied by speed advisory plaques that indicate the speed with which you should proceed.